Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. It is Lower Alabama, my friends, and I appreciate it. It's a cold, cold morning in Troy, Alabama, as we get ready for a Wednesday show. And of course, we're excited about all the things that are going on in our part of the country. We saw a lot of good basketball, and we just got through with some of the football playoffs, and man, we've seen games that we'll not see again for a long time with some of the great games we've had last week. Of course, the headlines in today's paper, this is not good. Auburn Athletics is in the red. Auburn Athletics operates at a financial loss for the first time in 7 years. That's the article in the today's Montgomery Advertiser, and it says, for the first time in 7 years, Auburn University Athletics was in the red for 2021 fiscal year, operating at a $9.7 million deficit, despite a $23 million conference-wide supplemental bailout from the SEC. So that's the situation there. Alabama operates at a $9.6 million surplus, despite Alabama Athletics operating at a $9.6 million surplus during the 2021 fiscal year, but it would have not been in the red if not for the SEC wide bailout of $63 million for each school in the SEC, according to the annual report obtained by the Tuscaloosa News and USA Today program. It says the Crimson Tide operating revenue was $1.79 million was their operating expense, and that runs through July the 2020th to July 2021. So that's the way and their expenses were $170 million. So that's how much they spent during the past year. So I don't know what the situation is. The deficit comes 1 year after Auburn operating at a record $17.9 million profit. Auburn 2021 fiscal year started October 1st, 2020, and ended September the 20th, 2021. The athletic department expenses were $133,289,000, and that's a drop from the previous year. That was the lowest spending since 2020 or 2016 or 17. I'm not going to get much more involved in that, but it's a good picture of Coach Brian Hasson, Harsin, and athletic director Alan Green, and those are two of the main interests right now as far as the Auburn getting into a financial
I saw that
red. Of course, you can call it red, or you can call it whatever you want to call it, deficit. It's those things. Now, something that I didn't read into as much is that the deficit for Auburn is $9.7 million, but despite a $23 million league-wide bailout, and so that makes me think that they actually have already spent that $23 million already. Go ahead.
Guten Morgen.
Hi, morning.
Well, I just got to the set late, and I like what your dad's talking about. He's picked up on the story I picked up on, talking about the deficit of certain athletic programs in the last 2 years due to COVID, really.
Yeah.
But Auburn had a deficit of over $9 million. What stood out to me in that story, Mike, is that the story shows the ticket revenue that Auburn lost from 1 year to the next, over $30 million. And that was because they limited seating capacity to 20% of the stadium.
Yeah.
Football and basketball. So they lost over $30 million in ticket sales. And my question is, they didn't even have to do that. They this year, did they limit capacity? Did you hear about any super spreader events from people going to football games? I didn't. So they were told, really, that you can't let people go to the games, and they lost $30 million. That's going to have a lot of negative consequences on a lot of people for a long time. But, yeah, and now...
Yeah, I'll say this. We have a super spreader event going on down in Florida Panhandle in Grayson, Santa Rosa Beach down here, because I actually tested positive for COVID last night.
No.
So what have you? How long will that hold you back?
I don't know. I mean, it's the craziest thing ever. Our girls tested positive for COVID last Monday. So 8 days later, after my girls had COVID, I get COVID. My wife didn't test positive for COVID until Friday. So I had 3 negative tests, and then I was having a headache yesterday. It wouldn't go away. And it didn't matter what I took medicine-wise. And everybody I talked to about it said it's like kind of a wavy headache, and that's exactly what I had. And I did one of my at-home tests I got from CVS. I tested positive. I had 2 lines yesterday. If you have 1 line, you don't have it. If you have 2 lines, you have COVID. So, I don't know.
Well, do you hurt now? Are you feeling all right?
I mean, I slept fine. I mean, it's you kind of just feel like you kind of have like a little wavy head thing going, but I don't have the sore throat. I mean, I've got a little bit of a runny nose, but not anything bad. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird that literally I don't test until almost 8 or 9 days after my girls tested. And my girls are negative now. So.
Well, it just seems like everybody's either got it or will have it. But getting back to that story, the SEC teams actually turned out a lot better than most teams because they got that $23 million. Now, where the SEC came up with all that money to give people, I don't know. But the smaller schools, the mid-majors, the Troys of the world, they didn't have some rich uncle that could give them that money. And their other program, I think I looked at like Rutgers, which is in the Big Ten, and Connecticut. There are some schools that lost in the first year of COVID like $70 million in sports. That is a massive hit. I mean, there has to be a lot of borrowing of money to keep paying the bills when you're losing.
Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, is that right?
Well, when you're losing $70 million, where are you going to get the money to keep operating? So if this continues, well, you see what they did. They said, the heck with these, here's what they did with this attendance. They said, we're not doing this again for 2 years. You know why they didn't do it again? Because it would have sunk them all. If they all took another $30 million hit on ticket sales 2 years in a row. And so they said, let everybody go to the game. So anyway, it's interesting, very interesting story.
It really is. Of course, it covers both of them. And like they said, if Alabama had not received the $23 million SEC bailout, they would have been in
Alabama actually was in the black somehow. Very few schools were, but Alabama was.
Well, and of course, we'll talk about that later. And of course, last night
I saw some strange play in basketball last night. I mean, Auburn survived at Missouri by 1. They're a 14-point favorite. Alabama goes on the road as a 14.5-point favorite at Georgia, and absolutely gets destroyed in the second half. I mean, looked just pathetic out there. I mean, I don't know what is the deal with Nate Oates and his basketball team this year, but Alabama, man. I mean, I guess they'll make the tournament because their strength of schedule is number 1 in the country, and they beat Gonzaga and they beat Houston. But man, they looked really bad in the second half.
of course, we still.
Well, the key thing is, I think you can write Alabama off. They don't have it this year, but Auburn found a way to win. It wasn't pretty, but it was a road win in the SEC, so Auburn should take it and get out of there.
Yeah, Missouri had 8 wins going into that game. Of course, one of them was against Alabama, and then Georgia had won 5 games. A 5-win team beat a 13-win team last night, and a team that was 0-6 in the conference beat Alabama last night.
Oh, man.
Alabama, you don't know. I mean, they've shown that on a given night they can look good and be good, but then they can get blown out by Missouri, and then they get blown out in the second half by Georgia. So
Alabama's about to be 13-9. How about this stretch? Baylor at home lost. Auburn on the road lost. Kentucky on the road lost.
So 3 of those are losses.
That's their next 3 games in a row.
Well, that's going to put them at 13 and 12. Alabama might not make the tournament.
13-10 is what their record will be.
Want to mention that, Mike, that you're going to get to see a lot more of Sean Payton. He is retired. He's retired.
Yeah, my buddy, he's all the time at Alps Beach. That's where he owns a home down here on the Panhandle. And they say he's a really nice guy. He's in and out a lot. He's a guy that was making $15 million a year. It's hard to pass up as a head coach.
I know it. Golly. He must have put a lot of it away, don't you think?
Well, I read that story, and reading between the lines, it looks like he's going to either see if he can get a good TV gig and or just take a sabbatical, because he's so young. He will get another head coaching job.
A lot of people think he's the best, coach in the country when it comes to sideline coaching. Coaching during the game. They say he's the best.
Yeah, I think him and Breeze had such a great relationship, and I think coaching this year about Drew Brees, I think he just kind of lost the love of the game. He's only 58 years old, so you would think that maybe in a couple of years he'll get back in it.
Yeah, a lot of times when you have a situation like that, he's got some other things in the mill, don't you think? Other than broadcasting.
Yeah, top candidate for the New Orleans Saints job is Ed Orgeron.
Oh no, you're crazy. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, ladies and gentlemen, is looking for a career in the trucking industry. No better place than right here in Troy, Alabama at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. We appreciate them so much for being a part of this show. Bill Rice is with us, as he is most every day. And what's going on with you now, Rice? Have you?
Well, we had a good adventure yesterday. Mike and I went, like we said, we went and ate breakfast at Trojan Dining.
Yeah.
And that was real good. So we saw these exploited athletes that were getting this spread of breakfast. Let's see what they could have gotten. They could have gotten eggs, breakfast burritos, grits, fruit.
Uh-oh. That means somebody's...
Make sure I don't have the keys. Hello.
No, Rice, no. Tell us that you don't have the car keys.
Yeah, I bet I do have the car keys. I'm on the air.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Our community is the driving force behind our stores. Our commitment to you has been our #1 priority for over 30 years. Whether it is providing quality, fresh, local, and affordable products or aiding local schools, churches, and charities, Piggly Wiggly is here for you.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain Grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
The Walmart Distribution Center in Brundage is now hiring. We've extended our $2,000 signing bonus until the end of January 2022. And you can go back to school with our Live Better You program. Apply online today.
That our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. I was talking to Jason Gregory just this past week, and he's got a big load of brand new cars and trucks to choose from at Premier. And of course, no better place to buy a car or a truck than a new or used car or truck than that my good buddies Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Troy, Alabama. And remember, those Ram trucks are #1 in the country today at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Nobody beats a Premier deal. I want to also mention the Up Store and on South 39th Street, and of course my good friend Deanne, and they do a great job. I tell you, every time I need them to put together some material for me, or run some copies, or mail something out, they're the place to go, and we appreciate them very much. I want to also mention Oakview Manor and Ozark for nobody as far as a health care center. They have a wonderful place to get all the services done for your elderly people, and also a tremendous amount of experience in the healthcare field. I want to mention also our good friends at the Matthews Law Firm in Ozark, and of course that's Will Matthews, our good friend. He'll be calling in this morning. And also Raymond at Raymond's Style Shop on the South Brundage Street in Troy. And of course that's where you get a good haircut. Almost all of the great Trojans throughout the years have had their haircut at Raymond's on South 39th Street.
Big
also,
news in baseball in the state of Alabama. Alabama High School Athletic Association has decided to move their championship games to Jacksonville State University this year. They'll also play some championship games in Oxford at the really brand new baseball park in Oxford, which is, I guess, Oxford to Jacksonville is about 35 miles. But
yeah.
Anyway, you got those games moving out of Montgomery. It's a 1-year contract. The games have been played at the Riverwalk Stadium.
What's the problem? What is the problem with that, Mike?
Looks like the Montgomery Biscuits have a home series on May 17th and 22nd there, and then after that, the Sun Belt Championships will be from May 24th to 29th. So didn't have enough wiggle room to play the state championship games there. So good exposure for Oxford and Jacksonville State. Oxford Stadium holds 1,200 fans, and then Jim Cates, Rudy Abbott Field Stadium, or Rudy Abbott Field at Jim Cates Stadium holds 2,200.
Yeah. Okay. Well, more power to them. Jacksonville, thanks to the conference realignments and all that, is now Division I in all sports, and they'll be off and running. Look for Jack State to do well.
Through the roof. I mean, they for a 1AA program. I mean, they have like a 26,000 seat stadium. They've always had a basketball gym that held about 6,000. I mean, the baseball stadium was always nice. I mean, it was a move that
thing that believe it or not, and I hate to use this as an example, but you know, they got a lot of money on that big storm that came through there a few years ago, and a lot of that money had went to facilities at Jacksonville State. I know they practically renovated their gymnasium there, and then their other baseball field was damaged, and all of that has been redone and refurbished. So they, you hate to say something good has happened, even after something bad has happened. Well, that's a pretty good deal for Jacksonville sports to be able to renovate all their facilities because of that storm.
An interesting story here. You don't hear about this much in football. Damian Square, who played at Alabama years ago, was on the Raiders playoff team. He came up with the practice squad and actually played in the game against the Bengals. So the fact that he was on the practice squad and got moved to the active roster, I guess if you're on a practice squad and you need a guy to come in and be a part of a team, the Cincinnati Bengals picked him up this week. So he's got an outside chance if the Bengals win.
Get in the ring, yeah.
And he had the unique opportunity to play in 2 different playoff games from 2 different teams. I didn't even know that was even possible.
Yeah, I know it. And Square played at Alabama, didn't he?
Yeah, he was on one of the Saban's early teams. I think he played like 2010 to like maybe 13.
He's been around for a while, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a good career.
Yeah. And is he an offensive or defensive lineman?
No, defensive lineman.
Yeah. So
he's from out of Texas originally.
Yeah. So that's some information.
But good for that guy, though. I mean, my God, he could have a chance to win the Super Bowl now.
Well, Mike, you sound good, and I hope you start feeling better. And of course, Mike is calling from his home.
I feel like I'll be all right. I mean, it's just, you just I felt like I dodged the bullet. You tested 3 times negative and hadn't been feeling that bad. I actually felt pretty good up until yesterday. But just one of those things, man. It's just spreading like wildfire down here, so there's really nothing I can do about it.
I'll read the headlines on this Sean Payton move, and that, like Mike said just a while ago, he's turning down $15 million to.
Sean Payton makes $15 million. I mean, I guess the only person who makes more than that in the NFL is Belichick, I guess.
Yeah, and 15-year tenure with the New Orleans Saints coming to an end. And we mentioned, of course, down at the beach, you're liable to see him most everywhere. You know, you see him jogging and everything down there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a home at Isles Beach. A lot of well-known people have homes down there. It's kind of like the Greece of the Florida Panhandle. Beautiful homes and beautiful setting. And he's down there, and you see him out and about. Seems like a nice guy. He seems really nice to everybody that works down there that I know. So, good for him. He's going to take a break. And tell you what, after being down in New Orleans, man, New Orleans is a town that is got to clean up, man. It's not the New Orleans I remember from being down there 6 or 7 years ago. It's a lot of homeless issues and a lot of people on the streets that not a lot of police. I read the other day in New Orleans that they're only operational at 60% of their police force right now.
Oh boy!
40% of their police force is left.
And right in the middle of Mardi Gras too. You know, right in the middle of Mardi Gras.
I noticed it when I was down there. I told my wife, I said, we were, walking to Canal Street. That's the main downtown area. There's no police presence anywhere. And then, of course, Bourbon Street, there was no police presence anywhere. So it was a wild place to say the least. I was kind of
I don't know.
That bad.
There might be more than that than is shown, but some of these people, a lot of these police people now are undercover police people, and they're busy doing some positive things. Hopefully, I mean, I love New Orleans. I mean, I really do. I love to go there and so forth.
I love New Orleans too, but I don't want to get bashed over the head when I'm walking down the street.
Well, I don't either.
You gotta watch where you go. But I was told by a lot of people that lived down there for years
what's the reasoning behind the going on Wednesday, Mike?
Yeah, I don't really understand it either. I don't know what's going on. But that will be today if you want to watch some golf. I know they'll actually have live coverage on CBS on Friday too. You don't see that much.
Oh yeah, I know it. You're right. I'm looking forward to it. Last night, Mike, I went over to watch Pike Liberal Arts play basketball against the all-time power Tuscaloosa Academy. Tuscaloosa Academy was won more basketball titles than any team in the private schools, Alabama independent schools. They had a proud program. Well, I'll tell you right now, they have a proud program. But let me tell you this, last night they were sent to the cleaners and sent to the cleaners early. Pike Liberal Arts led by 30 at the half, and they ended up winning by about that same margin, even though the last quarter was played with a second team and third team players that also contributed well. Pike Liberal Arts dominated the game against Tuscaloosa Academy, and there is no question, and I don't even have to see or hear about it, any other teams. They are the best basketball team in the Alabama independent schools. Last night, the Cross kid. Well, he had a bunch. I don't know how many, but he had a bunch, and a lot of his shots were 2 and 3 feet behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, you watched basketball your whole life. You're a referee your whole life.
Yeah.
You were in and out of gyms. I mean, do you think Cross is good enough to play at the next level?
Oh yeah. See, he's still young. Yes, sir. You can tell he's strong, and he can handle the ball. He can pass the ball, and let me tell you, they've got so many shooters out there that everybody that's out on the court can fill it up, and that's what they did. They made, I don't know how many three-pointers, but I want to say at least 15 three-pointers last night.
Barry Sanderson, Wimp's son, have a scowl going. Was he upset?
Well, is he the coach?
Yeah, Barry Sanderson's the head coach.
Boy, he sure. I was wondering about him. He got a technical early. He was embarrassed, I'm sure, because they were so outranked. It was pitiful. I mean, Pike Liberal Arts was a dominant team. They wouldn't say championship in basketball. It's almost guaranteed they're going to win in baseball. Well, let me tell you this: they led at one time by 40 points, and this is over the proud Tuscaloosa Academy program. And they're moving out of the.
I think Tuscaloosa Academy was number 2 in the state. Pike was number 1.
But I didn't put it. Like that. I've known who Wimp's sons were, but this guy was looked like just sort of a. I don't want to say overweight, but he didn't look the.
Yeah, he's a big old guy.
Barry, big guy.
Barry actually coached at
junior college.
South Carolina. He coached at South Carolina under Dave Oden.
Okay.
In the college ranks for maybe 8 years, he coached at South Carolina as an assistant, and then he was an assistant coach with Wimp at Arkansas Little Rock after Wimp lost the job at Alabama.
Let me tell you
Barry's a guy that's got great experience as a coach.
Well, they played hard and everything, but it was just they were outclassed. I mean, give me those kids. Man, I mean, everybody they put in there was good for Pike Liberal Arts last night, and before a very large crowd. When I left, it was 68 to 32, something like that, and I don't know why I got out of there. I didn't see the final score.
I thought Charles Henderson was playing at home last night. Now I'm looking at their schedule, and I thought we played Andalusia, but they ended up playing Greenville on the road last night.
Did they win?
So they lost to West David Hill, as we mentioned, on the 17th, 77-72. And then they beat Carroll away, 75-56. They beat Greenville at home, 75-42 on Friday. And then last night they beat Greenville away, Oh, yeah, they did play last night. That's right. Okay. They beat Greenville away 74-71. Isn't that crazy?
I know.
They beat a team in Greenville 75-42.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
33 points.
Hold on, Mike.
On a Monday,
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
My name's Frankie Pryor. How you doing this morning, Coach?
You're doing real good. How you doing, Frankie Pryor?
Think we're going fishing one day in the spring, Amos?
Yeah, that's right. Let me put you on hold a second and get you back here. I haven't done this lately. And there we go, Will. I thought we were going, let's see here. I haven't done this lately. Oh, gosh. Here we go. There we go. Got both of you. Good morning, Frankie Pryor. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what happened. Bill left his car keys in his pocket last night, and his wife got ready to go to school today, and she didn't have her car keys. So he had to leave the premises. So right now it's me and you, and I'm glad you called. This is a perfect time for you to call. Frankie Pryor, and I'm going to say Frankie, Frank Pryor. You know, one thing about you, Frankie, you know, you were a legend at Pike County High School, and there was another legend named Frank Pryor who played baseball at Auburn. Is any relation at all?
That's odd. No, sir, not at all. They came from a different whole clan, as we say.
And he was a great player. I remember watching him play in summer ball, and you know, when he was growing up, and they had all those great American Legion teams with Frank Pryor.
Yeah, he was my hero. I thought the world of Frank. I was real young. I was like an 8th grader when he played. But he was SEC Player of the Year at Auburn, and had a chance to go on and play with the Chicago team. Yeah, well, he was a good one, and he played first base most of his career at Auburn. Frank. Mike, I've got Frankie Pryor on the line, and this guy right here was the favorite receiver of what great quarterback at Brundage, Pike County High School, Randy Walls. Yes, sir. He was good as I've ever played with.
Mike, you know Frankie Pryor?
I don't know if we've ever met.
All right, now he is
how you doing, Mike? I remember following your career some too, young man.
You know, Mike.
I've been on the show with Dad now for almost, I guess, 8 or 9 years, and the famous person we always have on from Brundage all the time is Mr. Bowden.
Yeah, Lawrence Bowden. No, Lawrence Bowden. I've never had the AB on the show before. AB's my buddy. You know, of course, I ain't talking about Alec Bowden. But Mike, Frankie played on a team that was one of Pike County's best ever teams. He was the best wide receiver on a team that Randy Walls was the quarterback. You know, Randy Walls went on and played at Alabama, and it's notorious for one thing. He was the quarterback that played at Auburn. What did I say? Oh gosh, my apology. My apology. But Walls went on and played at Auburn and was the quarterback for Auburn when for Bama kick, and when they blocked those kicks and went for and beat Alabama.
Yeah, Dad, you were at that game.
Yeah, I was at that game. Sure was, and of course, Frankie.
Who was the head coach at Pike County High School when you played?
Bob Booth.
Famous coach Bob Booth.
Yes, sir. My good friend Bob Booth, and I tell you, y'all were a well-coached, well-seasoned football team. And of course now Frankie has moved back to Troy, and you're having a life of Riley. Is that right?
Enjoying it, Coach.
How long did you live in Montgomery?
About 40 years.
Now
about 40 years too long.
Now somebody said this now, and when you mentioned Frank Pryor or Frankie Pryor, you can't help but mention Johnny Dunn. Tell us about your relationship with Johnny Dunn.
Johnny's my half brother. grew up together, and Mr. Robert Stewart was our stepfather, and we were lucky. We had some good people to raise.
Well, you know, I did not realize that until the other day that y'all were brothers, and I've known Johnny Dunn for years. Of course, Johnny coached and was an outstanding coach. I tell you, especially down at Arrington for many years, and Elba and several other places.
Too,
yeah, very good coach, and but one thing that he led you to do was to start playing softball, and Johnny Dunn is a legendary softball player, and you followed it. Well, you have not been retired long, have you?
I just laid out a few years ago because I tore his shoulder real bad, and two times, and I may get back this year. I may get back in it this play.
Well, what about Herbie Jeter? Is he still playing softball?
Yeah.
Herbie played up to I don't know if he's still playing, but I knew he was 3 years ago when I got out of it. He was still playing.
Yeah, you think of Frankie Pryor and Johnny Dunn and Herbie Hinner as outstanding, and all of y'all will go into the Hall of Fame in the Alabama softball.
Coach of mine that coached me there, Montgomery, talked about it and all that kind of stuff, and I said, "Yeah, let me play a little longer and see if I can get better than I was." He just laughed.
How many years has Johnny been playing softball?
I'd say he's 78, so he started when he was about a senior in high school. I would say probably 65 years.
60, 65 years, Johnny Dunn is.
Yeah, he started when he was right out of high school.
Yeah. And now the thing about it, he would play city league ball and played with, but most of the time he played with teams that went all over the country.
We traveled all over everywhere. He played in Las Vegas. I played all over Oklahoma, Texas, Florida.
Isn't that something? Yeah, that is unreal. Y'all have had a lot of fun, haven't you?
Oh, what you talking about? We won tournaments we probably shouldn't have with the players we had, and beat teams that we probably shouldn't have over the years. But you just love it, you get some good players around you, and you learn how to win.
In fact,
78 years old. He's playing in the field, or is he pitching and hitting?
He plays first base. I mean, hey, Mike, you already seen him. I was in Tampa, Florida one time down there, and sitting in a little bar that Babe Ruth and the boys all used to hang out in years ago, and a man saw the shirt I had on. He said, "Oh, you play senior softball." He said, "Look at that picture back there." And it was 90-year-old players. And they had to prove they were 90 years old, and they had to try out for the team. 90 years old, still playing softball.
What position does Johnny play? Is he pitcher, or what does he do?
He pitched forever, but now he's pretty much just back playing first base.
And of course he's a good one, and for such a long time.
How long does the softball game last? Was it 6, 7 innings?
7.
And how many games do y'all usually play when y'all go out?
In the tournaments, you'll play at the age group now. You play about 3 to 4 a day, but we used to play 6, 7, 8 a day sometimes.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, y'all have traveled and had fun, and one thing y'all had to have wives that would put up with that. Is that right?
Yeah, boy, ain't that the truth.
Say, honey, I gotta
get. And I've done real well. Right?
Well, I tell you what, it's great to talk to you this morning, because you're the father-in-law of Bill Rice Jr. and you're going to have to get him straight now.
Yeah, hey, you need to get 2 pair of keys. Yeah. That's what I do. I got 2 pair of truck keys. I keep one in the truck and one in my pocket.
Well, that's right. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. I'll tell you that right now. It's happened. The sad thing about all of this is it's happened more than once.
All you got to do is buy one of those little metal boxes and put it up under your car. That's real simple.
Oh, yeah.
Real simple, stupid,
You're right. We're talking to Frank. We're talking to Frank.
When Coach Casey was on there, and Mr. Bill Rice was on there on your show.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Years ago, and I was in Montgomery, got to talk to all y'all.
That was a great show we had with Bud.
Sure was.
And Bud, I tell you, I miss him so much today. Bud Casey,
Well,
and of course.
I met you and Coach Bud Casey over at the half shell, and we just talked forever.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, you've had a great experience in athletics. There's no question, and you guys that have played softball for years, that's saying a lot. And but in a way, it keeps you going. It probably keeps you going.
Oh, I would be so fat. I'd weigh 300 pounds probably if I hadn't played ball all those years. And a short man don't need to get too fat.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back with you as a player in high school, and I'll move up from there. Of course, we'll mention Johnny in conversation. But Randy Walls, what a great, from Brundage, Alabama, and of course, we talked about A.B. Alec Bowden. He was the first Auburn quarterback from Brundage, and then Randy came after him, and was a great player. Did y'all, when he was a player, did you communicate with him very much?
You talking about Elliot? Or
yeah, no, with Randy. I mean,
Randy and I were good friends.
Did he always have football tickets for you? Hey, Randy, this is Frankie. Randy, this is Frankie. You got me any tickets?
No, see, I was off in the Army when Randy played in '72.
Yeah.
I was in Vietnam. I was on my senior trip in Vietnam.
Oh, boy.
And my stepfather actually went with Mr. Fred Walsh to all those games just about up there. And he kept up with Randy and would send me clippings over there. I'd get them overseas to get the reason.
I bet that thrilled you.
They almost made a movie about that, Mr. Reba Walsh was telling me.
Uh-huh.
Well, 1972, amazing.
Oh, yeah, it was unbelievable. I was at that game, and, the two block kicks were by the same player. A Newton guy from Newton was from what county up in North Alabama, and then
I thought he was from like around Reform somewhere.
He was
up in there. Yeah,
Fayette. Hey, that's right. He's from Fayette, Mike. He was from Fayette.
You're right, Mike. That's right.
The Newton.
Greg Gant was the
guy. Greg Gant was the Alabama punter that took two long strides. If you look at it on film, he took two real long strides. Anybody could have blocked that kid, couldn't he?
That kind of reminds you of that game we saw Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Good pro game. Yeah. My God, I heard you talking about that, Mike, and I sat there and was watching all of it. That was just amazing. I don't normally watch pro football, but I've been really watching it here lately.
Boy, it's been fun. It sure has been fun.
One of the best games I've ever seen.
After Randy won that big game, I reckon you couldn't talk to him. He didn't have a hat he could put on because his head was probably that wide.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and Randy's always been on the same page. If I needed him, called him right now, he'd be here.
Yeah.
We didn't have to say too much to each other. We didn't have to carry on and be big buddies. We just understood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that team though was coached by Bob Booth and the best Pike County team, and y'all ran a lot of pro stuff, and you really had a great coach to play for, and
we were way ahead of our time, Mike, for the passing game.
Sure did. You sure did. And I remember I coached against y'all in a few of those games, and y'all were very, very competitive, no question about it.
Well, it's like you said, though, when we played Charles Henderson, we run the ball that night, and if we had thrown it, we might have had a chance to beat y'all.
Well,
years,
Yeah, and but I tell you what, old Booth could really, he won the state championship at Goshen, and it was before the playoffs, but and then he went to Pike County and won several playoff games down there, and really had a great career. And I see Bob all the time, and he's one of my good friends. And
he was an excellent football coach, and he was kind of way ahead of his time with his thinking, bringing that to high school.
I think when I think of
does y'all run like a spread kind of offense? What y'all run?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had two wide receivers. I was a flanker. I'd go in and out. I'd be in the backfield sometime. I even quarterback some. So we did a little bit of all of it. Like it was unreal. What all the things he had us to do.
Now, I tell you, one of the things that y'all did, like you were a slot receiver. You could, like you said, you can line up in the backfield or whatever, and you didn't see that kind of offense much. And
no, usually was, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Bob Booth was sort of ahead of his time in some of the things that y'all did.
No doubt.
And of course,
what was Pike County back in those days? Were y'all like 1A, 2A, 2A?
Unfortunately, we were 3A by 10 students, and we didn't have any business playing Troy, Charles, Andalusia, those things like that. Brothers didn't have, 2,000 people if we had that many. And we were playing, even Elvin Oppman, they were great back then.
Yeah, oh, no question about it.
Because Mike DeBose hit me 9 times one night down there when we played Oppman.
Well,
and I'm still looking out of my ear hole on my head.
Well, I can tell you all kinds of stories about Mike DeBose. I coached. I coached Marvin Barron. You know how good he was. But Mike DeBose, as a college and high school linebacker, I don't know if I've ever seen one any better. He was a great player.
We played them and they beat us 42-0. I caught 9 passes and I think we had maybe 50 yards total offense. It was sad.
They were awfully good, no question.
Dad claims he had 31 tackles against Charles Henderson one night, but he was out with cramps on 2 plays, and that's how Charles Henderson scored.
That's how we scored.
I don't doubt
Ricky Henner scored on 2 long touchdown runs, and both times DeBose was on the sidelines nursing a cramp. But he was that good. He was that dominant. Of course, he might be listening to us this morning in Andalusia. Where he lives. Talking to Frankie Pryor, ladies and gentlemen. And Frank, we're going to take a short break. Hold with us. We'll be right back. Brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines in Troy, Alabama. Good. I'm so glad you.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, we put God and family first. Look, the new T680s, they're here. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we still have the $1,000 sign-on bonus. We have good equipment. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. We have a dental plan. We match your 401k up to 4%. Remember, at Wiley Sanders Truck Line, these wheels roll, you make money. Come drive for the best today. Come to Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, boy.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
Shipping Wars is back and bigger than ever.
More work, more money.
These shippers have a long road ahead. Who will come out on top?
If we can get it there on time, we'll make some good money.
Shipping Wars. New episodes Tuesdays at 10. Only on A&E.
The Walmart Distribution Center in Brundage is now hiring. We've extended our $2,000 signing bonus until the end of January 2022. And you can go back to school with our Live Better You program. Apply online today.
Well, I'll tell you, back to our show brought to you by Health Actions Physical Therapy, located in Jackson, Alabama, but they have a big, nice store right here in Troy for all your needs for physical therapy. Want to mention also the Southeast Alabama Gas District and home office in Andalusia, Alabama, with numerous stores all over the central and southeast Alabama. And, of course, Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks located right here in Troy. Frank Pryor, my good friend, is on the phone with us. And, of course, Frank Pryor was I reckon a lot of people might call you guys, when y'all played at Pike County High School, legendary players at Pike County High School, but you grew up and you played ball, and then you continued to play ball, and you played softball in the state of Alabama for how many years?
Oh, I've been playing since I remember I was playing second base one time with Coach Butch Austin and him. I was in high school, and I got hit in the mouth with a softball. My high school baseball coach had already told me not to be playing softball.
Yeah.
So Coach Austin told me, "Hey, what you going to tell him tomorrow?" I said, "I don't know." So, anyway, I paid for that. I got to run extra and do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started to play when I was about 16, so it's been over 50 years.
Yeah. Well, I would say this, and I'm sure your stepbrother Johnny Dunn, he pushed you into it. I'm sure yourself. You probably at home watching TV, and he calls you up. He said, "Hey, we need another guy to play softball." Did he ever do that to you?
every minute day we do that, and I'd call him on the spur of the moment, and we've had a lot of just pickup teams that win play tournaments and beat people who wasn't supposed to. They get mad. We have to leave out of the county pretty fast.
Yeah. All right, let me.
When you play softball, what are the dimensions of the field? Like, what's down the left field line, center field, right field line?
You'd be surprised some of these big players that we played against. Bruce Meade hit home runs in the old Houston Astrodome, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
Wow, with a softball.
I mean, with a softball.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just over the fence. I'm talking up 30 rows, 30 feet, that kind of stuff. 30, rows on up and further.
I'm on.
Because you're generating all the power. I mean, it's soft pitch, isn't it? It's not fast pitch, is it?
It's not fast pitching. That's amazing. Everybody thinks, why didn't you play fast pitch? Well, I wish I had. I had 2 or 3 opportunities.
You could probably play for U.S. Surgical Steel, couldn't you? U.S. Surgical Steel.
Right there in Montgomery, they really were.
Who was that legendary pitcher on that U.S. Surgical Steel team?
I can't call his name, but I've seen him pitch, and he stayed there forever.
And they were from Montgomery, too. The Surgical Steel was really good. They were really good.
They brought teams in from everywhere to play there. They had as many as 25 teams one time, which was real big. But these were like from Pennsylvania and all over the United States.
But of course,
a girl like at the University of Alabama, Montana Foul, there's like 71, 72, 73. What could a man?
You couldn't either, Mike. If you're a baseball player.
Hey.
I could. But what could a man throw a softball past pitch at?
100 miles an hour.
He used to pitch from second base and throw it about 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, 100. They've been.
Three people on the field, and they beat teams with 8, 9 players.
Yeah. All right, now
I gotta watch some of that. I wonder if
King and his toy. If you ever pull that up on film, I think they got a lot of that going. That's on
YouTube. I bet I can pull it up.
But they toured all over the country. But now, what we're talking about this kind of softball, Mike. Now you went through a certain age limit, sort of in a way, and then you moved from that age group to another age group. Is that right?
Yeah. So it starts. Basically, you have like a 35-year state championship in Alabama, and it goes up from there, 40, 45, 50, right on up. Now, you can play down as long as you're not overqualified like an A-class player, or you can stay B or C, and everybody tries to stay C-ball now, because that way they can play up or down. They're good enough to play A and win.
Yeah.
And so they all load up and go C, So it's a racket. It's
I was going to say this, and I want to add 3 or 4 more names to it. But the former Jeff Davis head football coach, he's dead now. But Billy Livens was a pitcher in softball. A lot of people don't know this. He was one of the best pitchers in softball, and he played a long time, didn't he?
We played against him out there. He sure did.
And he's real competitive too. He was real competitive.
Can you spin a softball pretty good?
Oh, man, you can throw curves with it. Knuckles. My brother can throw a knuckleball. You still can't hit it. He could throw a knuckleball with a baseball.
Oh,
so
man.
There's pitchers out there. And I pitched for about 20 of my years, 25. And actually, Mike, if you can get it at the right angle coming over, you can't hit it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Mickey Mouse. You cannot hit the ball.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you another guy that you had to idolize because he was a great player, and his ears will be wide open this morning. Was Tom Norman, Jimmy Norman. He was one of the best baseball players to ever come through Pike County. Don't you agree?
Y'all all played together with American Legion.
Yeah, we sure did. In fact, I played on the team with Johnny Dunn in American League. Played at Rip Hughes Stadium in Birmingham.
Went to the old field in Birmingham, wasn't it?
It's considered the oldest baseball field in America.
Yeah, Rick Wood.
But I was just
There were some scouts there, Mr. Coach Mike. The Detroit scout was there, and 2 or 3 more. And they actually talked to Mr. Fred, and my father was listening to him at the same time, Robert there, and they said, well, we up there and see this old Dunn boy, and Johnny had probably the worst 2 games he ever played all year up there.
I remember those teams out of Inslee and those Birmingham teams. They had these real fancy uniforms, looked like the Yankees out there, and had jackets and everything. and we looked as scraggly as you could get, you know. Those Wilkes boys and Johnny. And that's right. Didn't even have the same color jersey or anything. And we're playing in the state American Legion baseball field. Now I played on that team only as a.
You were quite younger than them.
Yeah, I was very, very much younger. Johnny Teal, you remember the great Johnny Teal, and I played on that. But I was sort of a water boy,
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yeah.
And but Johnny Dunn, I remember, was such a good player. And you know, the first thing I told you and I started talking about the other day was how he choked up on the bat. Let me tell you, he'd come up there. I wish I had a bat here to show you. And he'd have, all right, let's see, he'd have at least that much bat left. But he would choke up until he got almost to the end and then hit a line drive.
Young Mike, that was a 28-ounce, 29-ounce bat, too. And he still choked up on it pretty well.
Oh, yeah, and hit it hard somewhere, you know. And he was something to watch.
Right.
All right, now let me ask you a few other questions about some people. Butch Austin, ladies and gentlemen, is very well known as being a great baseball coach at Charles Henderson High School and at Pike County High School and at Pike Liberal Arts, more than anything, Pike Liberal Arts. And he won some state championships. But Butch Austin was a renowned softball player, wasn't he?
There was a Detroit Tiger scout said that he had the fastest hands he'd ever seen playing baseball or softball.
Well,
and he was great. I mean, I played behind him at second most of the time when I was coming up. So then, of course, I could play the outfield and move around. But it was amazing just to watch him and learn from him.
You know, and of course, another man we mentioned already was Herbie Hunter. Herbie was a slick. He was a shortstop in most of his career, I think.
Oh yes, sir. He played short right on up.
And he pitched too.
Last time I saw him 3 years ago.
Isn't that amazing that he still got the arm to play shortstop? You know, and everything.
You know, talking about athletes and the players.
Hand-eye coordination at that age.
Oh, unreal.
But you know, and
now seriously, both of y'all will be amazed if you ever can see. Most of the older tournaments have moved out of Alabama. They're down like in Georgia now, or Pensacola, and areas like that. And Montgomery, I don't understand why they don't have a senior league. They got enough players up there, but they just don't do it.
But now are they still big in slow pitch? Montgomery.
Yeah, one time, you know, Dothan was the big thing when I first started. They were the softball capital of the South. Then it moved to Montgomery.
Yeah.
The lagoon got built, remember?
Bartow Driver. Bartow Driver. He is a legend. Hey, look, if you wanted to put it in the dictionary under legends in the old mind, he'd be one. But you know what? He made a ton of money working all the umpires. Hey, everybody, if you didn't know Bartow Driver, you'd as well forget about it if you ever wanted to umpire a ball game.
He was a softball man. He took me under his wing a lot and would help my teams. I a couple of teams up there myself, and he'd always take care of me in those tournaments and everything. So I really can't say anything bad about
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, you know, but I just wanted to mention his name.
He made a ton of money. You're right.
Yeah, and of course he was good at what he did, you know, and
he wasn't a bad athlete now.
No.
He wasn't too bad.
Bartow Driver from Geneva, Alabama. I used to tell him this. I said, "You are all Geneva 3 years in a row."
I want to tell one quick on Elliot Bowden.
All right, AB.
AB was playing first base against us up there, and they picked up a loaded team and had 2 or 3 players out of Georgia. It's supposed to be a state tournament, you know. And we brought our bunch up there, and we were all Alabama boys, so we said, the heck with it, we'll go ahead and play. So AB was playing first, and I always batted right-handed, but I hit it to the right side. That day, I hit 4 ground balls between his legs, beside him, and he threw his glove down and said, I ain't never playing again.
Of course, AB played at Auburn.
Play with guys that would do that in games.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, AB played at Auburn around some good quarterbacks that day, you know, and Bud used to tell me a lot about, you know, those.
AB told me the best thing that went for him on his resume was he was fired by Coach Tom Landry down there with the Dallas Cowboys. He was number 5 on the list, and they sent him home.
Oh, that's right. He's been a State Farm agent ever since after that, I was wanting to mention a few other names.
What years was Bowden at Auburn as a quarterback?
Let's see, he was up there with, I used to give you the whole lineup.
He had to be in the 60s, though. Johnny graduated in 63.
Yeah, it was
up there with Larry Blakeney. Was Blakeney there?
That's right.
No, Blakeney came right after AB.
Yeah, right after AB. They had.
Blakeney did everything up there at Auburn. I ate lunch with him and about 3 or 4 players there up at in Champions in Montgomery one morning, and Leroy Jordan was there, several more, and Blakeney was there, and they got to telling all the stories about it. He returned punts, kickoffs, quarterback, did everything.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't have anybody else could do it.
That's right, yeah.
Jasper, Alabama.
No, now he was from.
Larry's from Gordo.
Gordo, yeah. But that's the same. That's the same area, no question about it.
Right.
Leroy Jordan was there at breakfast, and Larry Blakeney telling stories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Leroy Jordan, you'd be surprised, Mike. I'm not a big man. I'm 5'8", 150 pounds when I played. But I was probably 5'9", 160 when I was eating there with him. And I was beating Leroy. Leroy, hey, I wouldn't have said anything bad to him. No, I think he whooped up by that table.
Yeah.
He's a man now. He's a man.
Yeah. That reminds me of some of those great linebackers at Alabama. Now, during the back to your softball, and we talked about Butch Austin and Johnny Dunn, and Johnny was
Bobby Joe Ellsworth now is a legend too.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you a little story about Bobby Joe Ellsworth. You get a kick out of this. Jimmy Norman tells me this all the time when I see him, but Bobby Joe and Jimmy was a Chicago Cub, played in the minor leagues with the Cubs, and Bobby Joe played it with the Dodgers in the in the minor leagues. Well, a boy from Brundage and a boy from Goshen. When they two teams met, they met in a ball game, and the final score was something like 1-0. Bobby Joe was a catcher, that he was a great catcher. Well, and in that game, Bobby Joe Ellsworth had 3 hits, and Jimmy Norman had 2, and that was all. They were the only ones in the game that they got a hit. But Bobby Joe's team beat Jimmy Norman's team. But that tickled me that those two guys played minor league baseball and played against each other.
Butch told me a story about Bobby Joe too. And Bobby Joe was out there playing AAA, and he was actually catching Kopax and Dodgeville.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he was about 1 step away from going. And somewhere or another, he hurt his back at National Guard and came home. But I think he got homesick, what Butch said. And I sure hate it because I believe he could play with the big.
But I tell you what, now we're talking about Butch Austin, Bobby Joe Ellsworth, Frank Pryor.
Yep.
And
the old Frank Pryor at all.
Yeah, and then AB.
Johnny Dunn.
Then AB, Johnny Dunn. Boy, those are good ball players. All of them, were good ball players. But
they was as good as ever come out of Pike County. I'm telling you now. We had a bunch. We've been blessed. We were talking about that the other day. All the good kids and good athletes we've had.
When I played, playing some American Legion, we had a guy. Brundage had a team, and Troy had a team, and it was the Wilkes boys played for Byron and Jerry Wilkes could fly. He and Byron both. But Richard Williford, one of my best friends, is was playing too, and he was playing a lot. And
Young Mike, did you play with the Knoxville?
Mike didn't. He played with Meadows. He played with Meadows. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I coached against Meadows and all of his growing up days. And one of the great people of all time was Brian Meadows. I tell you,
I played against Marcus Bryant and Trey. Those Trey Pike County.
Yeah, that was good. That's right.
They had all those Baptist Children's Home boys. I'll be honest with you. If we didn't get a few out of Banks, we couldn't have played those. They was tough. God knows. What was Davis?
Yeah,
James Davis would run fullback, and
yeah, James Davis.
Pruitt boys.
Yeah, they were
Jerry
good.
And Larry, and
yeah.
I know. And of course, you had the Huner boys too. Now they'd hit you.
Oh yeah, those Huner boys were all good, no question about it. And
but that children's home bunch, those were good kids.
James Davis, you know, who's
James Davis.
I tell you what, he was as good as there ever was. I'll tell you this: if he would have run 4.5 or 4.6, he would have played at Alabama anywhere he wanted to. He was that good.
Oh yeah.
And there's you know, I had the opportunity to coach them. It was a lot of fun, you know, with Jim Tompkins, and that was a well conditioned team. You know, James Davis. You know, you look at old James Davis, you say, well, you know, he don't look like much. I tell you what, he was a good football player. He sure was. Yeah, and then you had Ben Smith. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, did he play any? Oh yes, played fullback and linebacker on the team that we lost to. Lost in the state semifinals against. Let's see, what was the name of that school?
You lost to Hartford.
Well, no, it wasn't them. Hartsville, yeah. No, not. Yeah, it was Hartsville. That's right. It was Hartsville. I want to say no. It was in the other county, a good 5A team. I can't remember, but it'll come to me in a minute.
You played and coached so many. I don't know how y'all remember all that.
I tell you what.
Y'all know the players' names and stuff.
Dude, I don't know. I'll tell you this though. There was a pitcher, and his daddy was the coach of the American Legion team, and there was a pitcher that had all the. I mean, he was really, really good.
Scouts looking for him.
Who was the coach of that team? Though, and he coached the American Legion team, and he had a son.
Was it Knox Alfred Green?
That's Knox Alfred Green. Whoa, boy!
Right. His boy was pretty good.
Now, let me tell you something. You're right. If he had
Hobo Ray, you remember Hobo Ray?
Yeah, oh yeah, and but I tell you what, that guy you mentioned just a while ago could throw it.
Knox Alfred Green.
And then they had a boy from Goshen, a big old tall guy from Goshen. Well, you know, all those great players out of Goshen.
Yeah.
You know, you had one of them could throw it as up to the mid-90s.
Yes, sir.
Even then, that was Jerry. That was Sanders.
Talked with you about all that one day. He remembered all those players.
Yeah, I know it. I wish I could remember them all, but you know, Jerry.
I know you talking about. I heard my brother say his name, but I can't call his last name.
I catch myself.
I probably drug back for him.
Yeah, exactly. Jerry, but he was a great one, and you know, and so.
I can see him right now. Ain't he stocky, a little taller?
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you what he did. He went.
A heck of a ball player.
I'll tell you how good he was. In the high schools, you know, they'd always at the end of the year have a all-star game, and they would invite the best players in every, you know, in the South Alabama, whatever. And Jerry was a pitcher from Goshen.
I'll call my brother.
I'll tell you this: he faced 9 batters, and he struck out 7 in the state high school all-star game. Jerry, what?
And you wouldn't look at him and think he was a pitcher. He wasn't about 5 foot.
It wasn't Jerry Sanders. It wasn't Jerry Sanders, but he'd go down my Hall of Fame coaches. This guy was.
I can see him too. I can't call his name.
I know
it ain't McLeod. It ain't.
Yeah. And
it's one of those Goshen names, and there are a lot of them over there.
Yeah, you know those.
Not a Floyd, is it?
No, Jerry Farmer. Jerry Farmer, boy.
F-O-L-M-A-R, Farmer.
Yeah, he had a big time arm. If he hadn't tore up his arm, he would have been a great one, I tell you. And you know, most all these.
All those athletes that you're talking about, all of us would like one maybe. See, back then they didn't see anybody like they do now. All these athletes now, they can find them anywhere. They can find them at Banks Junior High School now if they want to. But you know, they just couldn't find the good athletes back then. You were lucky if you got a shot.
Do you remember the name Ronnie Lindsay?
Yes, sir.
Great left-handed pitcher for Troy, and Red Black, boy, Red Black.
Randy Black.
When Red Black and Randy, hey,
one-eyed Randy.
that's right. He could pick you off too, man. You didn't know which way he was looking.
He had to move to first and wouldn't wait.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been fun talking about all these guys. You know, also you had Ronnie Lindsay and Red Black and a lot of other good players. You know, that came around about that same time.
Quick story about remember Glenn McClendon?
Yeah, oh boy, do I? Do I?
Was about 30-something senior year, and then when I graduated, he wanted me to play in one of these turkey bowls.
Yeah, oh God.
For charity. And
oh
the
God.
Auburn team out of Montgomery got together, and we had the Southern team with Sim Bird and all that bunch.
Yeah.
And Danny Grant and all of them was down here. Big tackle, I can't think of his name, but anyway, he taught me into playing with him. And so here I am a senior now, right out of high school, working with him on the food business that he had. And so it's 11 degrees that night. And punts and kickoffs.
Oh,
and I'm
God.
playing with the legends, you know.
Oh, man.
I said, wait a minute, I'm going to stay everybody a secret. I'm going to kickoffs.
Oh, God.
And, but Sim Bird threw the best pass I've ever caught. Now, Randy would throw it hard.
Yeah.
But Sim's ball, when it got to you, it was like catching a marshmallow.
You know, both of them had that spin. Had that spin. I tell you, Randy physically, if he running a different offense at Auburn, because he could run. Randy had good speed too, and he was a good football player. Randy Walls
wait a
was.
minute, you don't know Randy. I know Randy couldn't run.
Well, I tell you what, when he run out of
he made himself pretty good ball player.
what he did, he ran out of the pocket real well,
Right,
to get in trouble.
He had to, right.
Yeah. But that was during the days of, I remember so much during Archie Manning days, where you saw Coach, when he's...
But I Randy could throw it about 70 yards.
Oh, yeah, I imagine he could.
Now, he had a cannon. He was a good, probably a better baseball player than he was a football player.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard that.
Was this running back Terry Henley?
Yeah, that's right.
You're exactly right. Henley and one more that.
Yeah. Do you know Henley has become a legend. Henley was not, he gained close to 1,000 yards, I think, in senior year. But he was just a good old country boy, but he's become a legend, up in Birmingham, hasn't he?
Yep.
He's been real well.
Randy got his knee hurt and was at home for the bowl game in Jacksonville. And Wade Watley had sat on the bench 5 years.
Yeah.
He was from Tuskegee. He goes in the game, and Randy called me and said, "Can you come over and watch the ball game with me at my house?" And I said, "Randy, I'm busy doing something. I'm going to watch the game over here." But anyway, that game, Wade Watley threw 5 touchdowns and got the MVP. The only game he ever played at all.
That's right. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
That is unreal. Randy, he was proud for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Randy couldn't do anything. After he messed up that knee, Randy came back and tried out at Auburn for the baseball team. I think if he'd played baseball first, he might have,
Yeah. He was a good athlete. Had two beautiful twin sisters, too.
Yes, he did.
I tell you, we're going to bring old Randy on our show one day. I'd like to.
And he told me he'd meet us down here, and we go.
That's good. Then we'll go get some breakfast.
We need to mention Troy basketball tonight, too. We'll be on the road at the Mitchell Center down in Mobile. The game starts at 7 o'clock.
No, not tonight. Tomorrow night, Mike. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Thursday night will be at the Mitchell Center.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and get that in. We're talking too much, Mike. You go ahead.
No. We're all right.
I'm trying to just give people up-to-date information. And then the game, we'll turn around and play Saturday at Trophy Arena at 6 p.m.
That's going to be a great game. And the game in Mobile is going to start at 7. I'm still looking for a way down there. I'd love to go to that game, Mike.
Well, you got Bill Rice. He can drive you.
Bill's got other things. Bill's got other things to do. I might get Frankie Pryor to take me down there.
Now, I'm retired. I can pretty much get in the truck.
That's right, man. And I got a great... And Frankie, I got a great...
I've got a free room at the Boulevard. Gotta meet y'all.
Oh boy, that would be fun. I tell you what, Frankie, I might call you and have you drive me down there.
I just don't have any time Coach. You know what I mean? Like I said, give me a day ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's about all I need.
Well,
Sometimes
yeah.
I just need a couple hours.
Yeah, you're right. But
So when you got back from Vietnam, you settled in Montgomery, I guess?
I worked around for a while, and I actually went over to Georgia and coached a year over there in '81, and got a heck of an offer back here with the Montgomery Advertiser, and I just couldn't turn it down. I wished I'd stayed in coaching, Mike. I coached about 5 or 6 years, and helped over at Dixie Academy for a while, and then a couple of private schools.
Yeah.
And then in Montgomery, Miss Carolyn Hicks used to call me when she needed some troubleshooting done, in history classes or whatever, and I'd go over and help her out some.
Yeah.
And just really didn't like the classroom. I loved the coaching part, but I just couldn't handle the kids.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I love the coaching and I love the kids. We got good kids, and our education system just needs a lot of work.
Yeah, and hopefully, it takes good leaders too, and
We're gonna turn it around a little bit at a time for our grandchildren, I hope, and for Mike's children and all those,
Well, I tell you what, you've got a beautiful place. Got a pond you can fish in. You got it made, buddy. And of course, I tell you, I recommend that to support Troy baseball. It's good baseball, and
yes, sir.
whether you get a seat out in left field or you get
I noticed that. I played a little bit out there on that field, and
yeah.
I one-hopped that long center fence one time there. My brother used to hit him over that short right porch,
Yeah.
He played for.
Yeah.
And so I tell you what, there's a lot of good memories right there at that field.
Yeah, me too.
Great baseball teams there,
Yeah, oh yeah, we really had a lot of
fun.
fun.
They're about to renovate the stadium again here, I guess maybe after this season, Dad.
The main thing they're going to do, they're going to make every seat a chairback seat. See, that makes one thing very nice. Every seat,
nice.
That's right. Maybe every seat a chairback seat, and then they're going to build coaches' offices up top, and they'll have their press box up there, and the coaches, and then the players will use all the building to the left, so the Mike Lott building.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Coach Chase Riddle was a fine man, wasn't he?
Oh gosh, you get me on him, I could talk about him every day. In fact, I'm looking forward to a special event that they have for Chase and one of his teams later on. But I tell you, he was a wonderful, wonderful man. Everybody talks about Bear Bryant, but let me tell you something. And I'd stand up and say it over and over again. Chase Riddle and Bear Bryant were in the same mold. I'll tell you.
I've always heard that.
That man, Chase Riddle, and I'll tell you something that will give you an idea of what kind of man Chase Riddle was. You'd be on the road playing in Birmingham or playing in Alabama, Tuscaloosa, or wherever you're playing. After the game, there'd be a line, I'm not exaggerating, there'd be a line of 50 yards long. I'm talking about 50 yards long of people just to shake Chase Riddle's hand. I'm telling you, he wasn't a rah-rah guy at all. No, but these people, it's respect. He had the respect of everybody that he ever coached or played or knew him. And when you, like I've heard people say, when I shook the hand of the man who shook the hand of Chase Riddle, I guarantee you a lot of people could say that because he was a wonderful man, to go with being a coach.
Well, they used to say that about Coach Bryant when he'd walk in.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody get quiet, and I understand Coach Chase Riddle was that same way. He just commanded respect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course, in the pro ranks, all those scouts you used to look up there, and there'd be 10 or 12 scouts. Well, they wanted to see Chase's team, but you know what? They wanted more than anything. They wanted to go to that fish fry after the game. Yeah, Chase would cook fish, and he'd have some of Joe Dotson and Heldon Fowler and some of those guys to have a big old fish fry. So he buttered up these scouts, with these fish fries, and you know what? And when the draft came, they'll take Chase's boy. I'll take that Chase's boy. I'll take that Chase's boy. And he got a lot of opportunities.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. Frank Pryor is our guest, ladies and gentlemen, a former Pike County outstanding athlete and well known for playing softball as you are anything else. And a lot of, do you know this?
I want to hear the story before it gets off about how Bill Rice approached him and asked for his daughter's hand in marriage.
Yeah, I know it.
Well, that'll take a while. You don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I had my shotgun loaded too.
Oh God.
I don't know why I didn't use it, but anyway.
Well, I tell you what.
Bill turned out to be a good son-in-law.
He's a fine young man, no question. And it really is.
I just wish you would have made it back to the interview today.
Yeah. Hey, let me just say this. I'll tell you another name I want you to hear. It's Hugh Cole. You know Hugh Cole? Now, you know they're still playing softball. They still have a team with Hugh Cole. And
we played against him, and he pitched for his team, and I pitched for mine.
Yeah.
And we'd take turns hitting the ball at each other back up the middle, and we'd have fun with it.
Yeah.
But now Hugh got his shoulders cut the same time I did, my right rotator cuff. And he just about lost his, I don't know if he regained it or not. Last time I saw him, it was tied to him in the front, and he couldn't move it. And he said, Frank, I don't know if I'm going to ever get it again.
But he loved it with a passion, and he played it 40 years. I know he,
his sons, had teams around him too. You built houses for long.
Yeah, that's right. He still does.
And when he played at Troy, I heard he hit you so hard he had to have a motorcycle.
He was a pulling guard along with Alvin Dees. We lost Alvin not too long ago, and what a great guy. But Hugh was a pulling guard, and Jeff Cotton was the running back, and boy, they were good, real good.
Right.
But let me, I wanted to mention, another friend of mine that was O'Neal Green. You know O'Neal? Did you know that he used to pitch? He used to pitch for Hugh and them. And like we were talking about earlier, he said he'd be at home watching TV, and he would get on the phone and say, "Hey, we don't have an 8th man. We don't have the 8th man. You got to come out here. You got to come up here and be our 9th man." And they actually had to have played, being on a roster and everything. He said he didn't want to go home because he knew that Hugh was going to be calling him wanting to play.
Yep, that's exactly right.
But
we played down here in Troy in the City League as Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
I don't know, 5 or 6 years till we run out of money, and they finally closed up.
You know the man. You know the man associated with with Buffalo Wild Wings, don't you?
Yes, sir. Ain't he from Troy up there? One of the what is it, Azores?
Well, no, I thought it was one of the played at Alabama.
Oh, I ain't talking
about. No, you're thinking about
down here in Troy.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Buffalo's down here in Troy.
Yeah.
It was Azar brother. He owned it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
he gave us money and didn't even know he was giving it to us.
Well, let me tell you this. I rode by, and our donut place is open now, Mike.
You got a Dunkin' Donuts?
We got a Dunkin' Donuts alive and well in Troy, Alabama. So, hey, we're moving on.
Who are you selling wine with, Mike? Since you're wine real.
Yeah, I sell for a company, a guy named Tom DeVacco. He's got his family vineyards in Italy. So it's a lot of import and export. No, he actually has a home in Panama City Beach at Bay Point. Then he actually has another home in Naples, Florida. Right. And he's living down in Naples this time of year because Naples busy season is during the winter.
Right.
He's a nice guy. I've been working for him, I guess, 2.5 years. But we got a few spirits as well. So we got a little bit more wine. But yeah, it's a fun job.
Frankie,
they've added so much to the wine thing now, it's unreal. A friend of mine, Mark Carpenter, works up here in Montgomery for a guy, and they send them out to California all the time. The company will pay for it. And I just figured you might talk him into flying you over to Italy. I
tell you what, you made a terrible mistake coming on our show this morning, because you know what? I'm gonna be calling you like Hugh called my friend O'Neal. Hey, Frankie, Bill is not gonna show up this morning. Can you come be on my show? Can you do that?
Give me 15 minutes to show.
Yeah, I say, all right, wake up, Frankie. I need you on the show. Well, I tell you what, we got a lot to talk about, and we all. One of these things, one of the things about this show is it's a community show. It's guys talking back and forth with each other. It's not organized. We don't have any kind of guy standing out or directing us directly, but he's in the box up there, and he pretty much lets us know what to do. But it's fun to talk old times, and that's exactly what this is. It's old Troy, old Pike County, old University, Alabama, Auburn, Troy. All of these things we want to cover real good every morning.
One of these old boys that played softball says all we do is making memories, son.
That's right, exactly right. And you really had some great memories to bring to the table, no question about it. I appreciate you.
Charles Henderson did beat Andalusia last night, so now Charles Henderson's 18-5 in basketball. So
how bad they beat Andalusia?
About 30.
Oh God, they killed them. What's happened to Andalusia basketball? I wonder. Joe,
we talk about Rich Robinson's not there anymore. He's a legendary coach.
I know it.
Yeah.
You know who played for him, don't you? You know who played for Robert Ory? Yeah, that's right, no question. Thank you for calling this morning, and do call back here.
I'll do it. Y'all have a great day.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate Frank Pryor calling in. And Frank Pryor did a great job, and of course he's very well known in this part of the country, and we appreciate him.
I'm fascinated about how these guys can still play softball.
That's right.
That's phenomenal. I mean, the hand-eye coordination, the ability to run. I mean,
but they use that high pitch, softball. It's that high pitch, and you got quick hands, and like.
I can honestly say I never played softball. I mean, I probably hit softball for my life, but I know people do play it their whole lives. They love it.
Oh yeah, and hey, it's a woman's nightmare, Mike. If they they wanted to see their husband, they had to see him during the week, because on the weekend they were playing softball. And I'll tell you one thing I would share with all you softball players, and I love you all. It's a great game and all that. But if I had a business and I saw one of a guy that worked for me playing softball, and that would slide into the second or slide into third, it didn't regardless of what would happen if he got hurt sliding in, he got hurt and he was them crutches for a month, I would fire him if he slid into a base playing softball and
what kind of job? You're talking about a physical labor job outside the mouth?
Yeah, no. What I'm talking about is, if he got.
I know, but I mean, if he was at a desk, it wouldn't matter.
Well, I don't know. It would in a lot of ways, but if it handicapped my business, it would concern me, though. This is not the case. I'm just saying that.
I can understand when they're like a professional athlete, you play another sport. Like you hear all this stuff here in the ACL and the football sport.
Yeah. Hey, John's going. Yeah, John won't be at work today. He got hurt playing softball. He slid into second base and tore his ankle up. But he'll be back in about 30 days.
I was wrong about Troy. Troy will be on the road tomorrow night, so we need to support Troy's basketball program. And of course, big crowd hopefully for the game on Saturday.
But Frankie, if you want to go to Mobile, call me. I'd like to talk to you about it. Of course, this show is brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need. Yes, Mike? Hello? Mike is off the air, and we're off the air. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early for Today in L.A.